One's ready. One's ready. Go!
Everybody, welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. You're in the team room. This is your daily drop for the 30th of April. We've mentioned it before, and we'll mention it again, and we'll keep on doing it until you're sick of hearing it. We've got the Operator Training Summit coming up in June 21st and 22nd in San Diego, specifically La Jolla. But it's going to be a phenomenal event. We still have spaces, but they are rapidly closing. So, or as in we are running out of space, so there aren't going to be any more slots available. But we're here for you. The whole point is to provide you instruction and mentorship and actually help your chances or increase your, not your chances necessarily, but at least your comfort level of being underwater and being drowned and potentially seeing the wizard. So no fitness level required, and you don't have to be active duty. You can be a civilian right off the street, and you don't have to be 18 either. If you're 16 and you're interested in joining, with parents' permission and a waiver, you're good to go. So with that, you guys head over to 18alphafitness.com. That is 18afitness.com. Get yourself a tailor-made program from Coach Edgerton based off of your current fitness level, what you need your fitness level to be at, and how much time you have. He will tailor make a program for you to get you ready for Air Force Special Warfare Pipeline, BUDS, Special Forces Assessment and Selection, or just to get better in life and be generally prepared. So the promo code for that, though, is the number 1 and ready. Number 1, READY. Ooh, almost got caught there. Almost got caught slipping. Don't know how to spell ready. That'd be really bad. All right. So if you guys aren't tracking or you're new here, this is the curated news from public affairs that gets sent out to every Air Force and Space Force commander and chief for their consumption. And basically I've thrown in an AI just to get the bare bones data to you so that we can rapidly get this out. And then I'll give any kind of opinion or insider baseball on it as required. So first up is joint news. Drone tracking shortfalls. The Defense Department lacks sufficient technology to track and counter hostile drones at U.S. bases, as testified by officials before the House Oversight Committee. Efforts are underway to enhance domain awareness and sensors and identify effective counter-drone systems for homeland defense. I think we saw this a couple months ago off the coast of, was it North Carolina or Virginia or maybe even South Carolina? All those drones. I mean, like when you start thinking about that and then, air shows and then the ability to just throw up a drone that has no GPS on it either. Like, so it's not grounded by FAA. It's just a normal quadcopter, and something like that could definitely down an aircraft. So it is a concern for sure. Next, counter drone at U.S.-Mexico border. The Defense Department plans to deploy counter drone technology along the U.S.-Mexico border to address drug cartel surveillance of military and law enforcement. Commanders have the authority to respond to threats prompted by multiple drone incursions over the past 2 years. Same kind of thing, like it's definitely an issue, and especially when you start talking about from other countries. I mean, in our deployed locations, that is for sure an issue. They used to strap grenades and stuff like that to quadcopters and then line it up and then drop the grenade to get maximum effect. Like those things worked. So I'm not surprised they're going to continue to do it because the technology is not quite there where we're able to counter drones effectively. Next, AI adoption challenges. Military leaders cite a lack of understanding about AI's potential as a barrier to its adoption, with officials emphasizing the need to demystify the technology. Providing practical examples of AI capabilities could help service members see it as a force multiplier, according to senior IT officials. Yes, I completely agree. Man, I don't know if you guys can hear that. There's some F-35s ripping it right now. Cause I'm out in the parking lot. Yeah, I completely agree. Military leaders do not understand AI. They just don't. They get sold from some of these companies. It's like, hey, we have this AI model and it's going to help everything that you have. The reason why Grok, ChatGPT are so good is because they have billions upon billions of data points to draw from. The military, because they lock things down and they don't open things up and they keep things compartmentalized, they don't have billions upon billions of data points. They have hundreds of thousands, maybe even a couple million data points that AI can learn from. So they don't understand it. And that's just a small part of what I'm talking about. So much so that they lock down AI at your unclassified networks on Air Force bases. Now, they are teaming up with Microsoft to open up Microsoft Copilot licenses so we can buy some now. But the fact that it's 2025, almost mid 2025, and they're just now considering this is pretty wild to me. All right, Balakatan. Beach defense drill. U.S., Filipino, and Australian troops conducted a beach defense exercise in Palawan during the Balakatan drill, showcasing coordinated land, sea, and air operations. The training highlighted Allied capabilities and heightened South China Sea tensions. Of course it did. Just like whenever China does exercises between and around and surrounding Taiwan, same kind of thing. It escalates tensions. It's a show of force. It's saber rattling. Same kind of thing. We do it just as much. Yemen's civilian casualty concerns. U.S. Central Command has not confirmed civilian deaths from the Yemen airstrikes, despite Houthi claims of over 70 civilian casualties, and is conducting battle damage assessments. Democratic senators have pressed Defense Secretary clarify measures to minimize civilian harm. The minimization of civilian harm during airstrikes, there are so many levels to this that it doesn't even need to come from the Secretary of Defense. All the way up to the person that's saying execute these strikes and down, there are safety measures put in there to minimize or make it zero in terms of civilian casualties. Now, sometimes there's somebody in a building or something like that there's no way that we knew that they were in there. Sure, that happened or has happened, but I've talked about this, I think last week, but forgive me if I don't quite believe what the Houthis say when they say that we killed 70 civilians, because Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, locations in Africa, like we do a strike and then all of a sudden they say, hey, we killed 30 of their goats, 20 of their cows, and 3 kids of theirs. And you're like, what are you talking about, man? We dropped a 500-pound bomb or a 250-pound bomb. Like, what are you talking about? We, and we have all the footage, so we know that they're lying. But of course, they get out in front of everybody and message that we did something that was, incorrect, and civilian casualties and that kind of stuff, just to get the messaging out there, to which it never gets corrected, right? Because why would they go back and correct it and say, all right, man, you got us. You didn't actually kill 70 civilians. So forgive me if I don't really believe what the Houthis say. Women Peace and Security Program ended. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced the termination of Women Peace and Security Program, labeling it as woke initiative despite its origins in the first Trump administration. The program, endorsed by Trump officials like Marco Rubio, aimed to promote women's social participation. I don't really know anything about this. However, I did see a bunch of debates online about this, saying, hey, it's pretty funny that they're canceling a program that Trump enacted, and Defense Secretary is President Trump's boy. Well, sure, but then I also heard other arguments that, like, hey, the original for it back in, I think, 2018 was different wording than it is now, that President Biden's administration changed the word verbiage and the intent for it. So the cancellation was not actually President Trump's intent and original agenda. So I don't know what is true and what is not, and what is complete fabrication of everybody blowing shit up online. But there you go. All right, Air Force news. The F-15EX from Selfridge or for Selfridge. President Trump announced that the Selfridge Air National Guard base will receive 21 F-15EX Eagle II fighters to replace its A-10 Thunderbolt II mission. The recapitalization is seen as a vital for Michigan's economy, homeland security, and maintaining regional air dominance. Cool. That F-15EX is supposed to be a bad mamma jamma, but we'll see. There's not very many of them out there right now, and I have not gotten reports back on how badass that thing actually is. In fact, there's actually debates on whether or not it should be a single-seater or a two-seater, even though it's set up for a two-seater, and the Strike Eagle community has a Wizzo and a pilot, whereas the F-15C, the air-to-air model, is single-seater. Like, there's a debate in the 15 community on which it should be. So it's pretty funny to, as an outsider, to sit back and watch. So whatever the answer is, I hope it's a good decision, and I hope it makes sense instead of the tribes just going against each other and saying, well, we need a Wizzo, or we don't need a Wizzo, because that internal fighting like that is 100% tribal. All right. Inert rifles at basic training. The Air Force will continue using inert M4 carbine replicas in basic training instead of live weapons as they enhance recruits' weapons proficiency and confidence. Major General Wolf Davidson, who is a special tactics officer, sees no benefit in issuing live rifles for the entirety of training. I'm sure he's got a lot of more data points than just my opinion. I tend to like live weapons, not live, but actual weapons rather than replicas, because you get to cycle the functionality and you respect the fact that you're actually carrying a weapon. Whether you have ammo in it or not, that's a whole nother story, but at least you know how to manipulate and have respect for an actual weapon. But again, General Davidson has a lot more data points than I do, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this one, but I still think that it should be actual rifles. Thunderbirds documentary on Netflix. Netflix's upcoming documentary, Air Force Elite Thunderbirds, premiere May 23rd, explores the high-stakes world of the Air Force's aerial demonstration team. Produced by Barack and Michelle Obama. Really? The trailer highlights the critical role of trust in executing performance, precision performance. I hope it's a good one. I remember being out here when they were filming it. So I do hope it's good, and I hope it does good for recruiting and all that kind of stuff. Still doesn't mean I'm not going to make fun of the Thunderbirds and give the Thunderbirds a hard time, because they deserve it. Thunderbirds absolutely deserve a hard time, just like everybody else. It's equal opportunity out here. All right, officer faces child sex crime trial. Lieutenant Colonel Kevin DeFalco, arrested in 2022 for sexual assault and child abuse at Nellis Air Force Base, will face a court-martial in September after charges were reinstated. The case was initiated when a victim reported the abuse to school counselors, leading to DeFalco's arrest. It is unfortunate that any of this has happened, and if he is found guilty, you guys already know how we feel about pedophiles. If that is, or whether it's a pedophile or whether it's, abuse, child abuse, alleged, of course, because, we don't do the whole, guilty by public opinion. It's, innocent until proven guilty. So, we'll see what happens, in that trial or that court martial. All right. China spy concerns at Osan. South Korean authorities detained 2 Chinese nationals for photographing planes at Osan Air Base. Though the images were deemed non-threatening, the Chinese embassy advised citizens to comply with South Korean laws on photography and drone use near... Oh, man, that's crazy. Near restricted areas. Sorry about that yawn in your ear. That sucks. I got to be more professional. All right, Space Force news. Commercial surveillance satellites. The Space Force is transitioning its, geosynchronous space situational awareness program to a commercially operated system approved by Major General Stephen Purdy. The unclassified program will leverage commercial alternatives and be accessible for foreign military sales. Next, GPS anti-jamming upgrades. The Space Force is deploying GPS 3 satellites and new receivers with M-code and regional protection to counter jamming and spoofing threats this year. Software-defined receivers will enable rapid reprogramming to maintain resilience against adversarial interference. Firefly launch failure. A Firefly aerospace rocket launch from Vandenberg Space Force Base failed, with part of the rocket and Lockheed Martin satellite crashing into the Pacific Ocean. Firefly, Lockheed Martin, and the Space Force and the FAA are investigating the mishap. That sucks. Firefly is the same company that landed a device. I guess that's the best term for it. On the moon as a private organization, which is pretty badass. So, sorry to hear that, Firefly. All right, these are of interest. The House Armed Services Committee approves defense budget increase. The House Armed Services Committee approved a $150 billion defense budget increase supported by Republicans and 5 Democrats to bolster military capabilities. Critics, including Representative Adam Smith, decried cuts to non-defense programs and insufficient Pentagon oversight. You know, we've talked about this before with General Deptula. You have organizations or services like the Space Force that get 3% of the DoD budget, and they're expected to put things into space. You can't tell me that putting things into space and designing new satellites and everything like that is cheap. Right? How many M1 Abram tanks do we actually need these days? Maybe we need F-47s. Maybe we need, KC-46s and other tankers that don't have cracks. Maybe we need F-15EX to be. Maybe we need the CCAs. I can't remember their YFQ or YQF, whatever. We need those out there. We need a new Sentinel ICBM stuff out there. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we need. The Navy needs more ships. So yeah, we need increased funding. Now, that does not to say that there's some things don't need or should be cut, because they absolutely should be. All right, Trump's martial law concerns. President Trump's execution order expanding military support for domestic law enforcement has raised fears of martial law among civilian rights advocates. The order's provision for military assets and personnel in local jurisdictions is seen as potentially enabling unchecked militia actions. See, I talked about this the other day. I don't fully understand the difference between martial law, the Insurrection Act, and posse comitatus. So, I just haven't gotten the time to do the research yet. Trump supports Hegseth. President Trump expressed confidence that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, despite Pentagon controversies involving sensitive signal group chats and staff firings. Trump's comments followed a discussion aimed at addressing ongoing tensions with the Defense Department. 688 honored. The all-black, all-female 688th Central Postal Delivery Battalion from World War II received the Congressional Gold Medal for their service delivering mail in Europe. The unit overcame racism and sexism, earning praise as patriotic pioneers in military history. I think there was a Netflix show on this. Not a documentary, just a drama or whatever. China's anti-U.S. diplomacy. China is leveraging U.S. tariff pauses to portray the U.S. as an unreliable global actor, complicating American efforts to unify allies against Chinese aggression. By European opposition to U.S. tariffs, China's actions toward Taiwan and the Philippines limit closer ties with Europe. ISIS suspect arrested. Iraqi authorities arrested an ISIS member linked to the New Orleans Bourbon Street attack that killed 14, with the suspect facing trial in Iraq. The FBI continues investigating the attack perpetrated by Shadasam Jabbar, who was killed in a police shootout. All right, next, and this is the last one. We made it. Pentagon security vulnerabilities. Internal Pentagon chaos, including senior officials' security lapses, creates opportunities for adversaries like China and Russia to exploit U.S. systems without sophisticated cyber attacks. Former CIA executive Brian O'Neill warns that these failures signal an open door for strategic exploitation. Yeah, completely agree with that. Of course it does. All right, everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Check out 18afitness.com. Use the promo code, the number 1 and ready. Get yourself a discount and enjoy yourselves today. And thank you for being here. Light up.